How's it going? I'm Tim with the Pivot Summit, and today I'm sitting here with Andy Monroy from eXp Realty, your agent Andy, and we're going to talk about just what his business does here in the Atlanta area, how he helps people. And Andy, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so tell everyone that's listening, like, what is it that you do? How do you help people here in the Atlanta area?
Well, I'm an Atlanta and Metro Atlanta realtor. I help first-time home buyers, people looking to relocate from out of state, even out of the country, to the state of Georgia. I have a YouTube channel. People watch my videos and they reach out and we try to find them their dream home.
And you have people that just either they search up Atlanta homes and they find it on YouTube, which is becoming the biggest search engine, and they find your videos. You help people sell their house. You help people buy their house.
Mostly buy their homes. People, again, they watch the videos, kind of like HGTV. And again, they reach out and we get them pre-approved. Sometimes they come pre-approved. So it's a little bit better. That means that they're more of a serious buyer. And for the most part, some people do trust me just with the tours. I go in with my camera and they buy the home just off of videos. They don't see the home until closing. But lately I have had some buyers, they fly in or they drive into state. And again, we kind of just go from there. Yeah,
that's crazy because you deal with a lot of relocations. So they just literally watch a YouTube video and buy a house from you.
Yeah, it takes a lot of trust, but I do a lot of research. I've lived here all my life, so I know about all the little areas that you should buy, you shouldn't buy, the schools. But yeah, it's a lot of trust, I will say, because I mean, for most people, this is the biggest purchase of their home. Unless you're a 1%er buying planes or $100,000 watches. It doesn't get bigger than a home. So for people to trust me and really pull the trigger, it means a lot to me.
Yeah, it does. And they kind of feel that through the camera, the personal brand, the YouTube videos. So for someone who's not out of state or out of country watching the videos, if they're just here in Atlanta and they want to relocate, you can help them out with that too, because you've been here your whole, pretty much your whole life, grew up here.
Of course. People that want to upsize, downsize, all the kids went to college, they've moved out, they want to downsize, we can sell their home. And if they're starting their own family, they want to get their first little starter home to build some equity. And then further along in their career, when, they get the bonuses or raise or whatever, they want to get a new home. We got them covered from all price ranges from as low as around $250,000 to around $12 million.
Yeah, $12 million. Anyone who wants a $12 million house, Andy's got connections for it.
We sure do.
So to go into that, I wanted to ask, you're a young guy, but you've been doing this business for a few years. What are some points where you've had to pivot? We're talking about the Pivot Summit, points where you've had to pivot and make a different move in your business or your life.
Right. Definitely. Real estate is tricky. It's not like on Instagram. It's not like the TV that it's, they like to say, oh, realtors just open the door and then you get this big check. It's not like that. It's not like that. You go in and then there's leakage, there's low appraisals, there's radon. I'm actually going to cancel a contract today because there's radon. The appraisal came back low, $25,000. Mm-hmm. Their seller doesn't want to, meet us anywhere. So we're going to have to cancel. So it's things like that, the experience that, you go through with an agent that's seen it all. I've seen so much. I've had 2 instances that my mentors with over 20 years in the business are like, that's never happened to us. And it's happened to me. But you kind of, like you say, you kind of pivot and you learn from it. The hard times make the man.
Mm-hmm. So being a realtor in Atlanta, like, what are some of the most exciting parts about it for you?
I like the sense that I get to be kind of the stepping stone for somebody to own a home, to kind of, get out of renting, build something for their family. Because as it seems, they're not making more land. So if you can buy a nice home in a nice area and you can either keep it, give it to your children, or, upsize and kind of just go from there from with the equity. It's a good feeling knowing that you're kind of setting up a family. For some people, they reach out, they're like, I want to buy this home for my kids. And their kids might be like 30. They don't have to be 8 years old, but they're like, this is all we can give them. We couldn't give them an education in college or, a career, but we want to give them this home. Or also when it comes to investing, you're kind of the stepping stone to being like, hey, I'm kind of escaping the 9-to-5 or, the rat race or whatever, to being like, all right, we'll buy this home and, you'll fix and flip it, or you'll buy the home and you'll put a tenant in and you'll get, slight passive income. And again, you'll kind of snowball from there. So just kind of being an ally, a help, kind of, that's what I like. I also like the people that I meet. So I sometimes meet government workers or my client he works for like the biggest African American radio station in New York. So it's people like that that I meet through real estate, through my YouTube channel, that I would never in my life cross paths with. So I like it, the opportunity to help and the people you meet along the way.
What's something most people don't know about buying their first house?
How expensive inspections can be and how important they are. So my client right now, they spend maybe around $700, but those $700 are going to save them, given we are going to pull out, right? So it's unfortunate, but are at least around $8,000.
Mm-hmm.
So 700 to 800, you're kind of like, well, 700 doesn't fall out of the sky, but $8,000 definitely hurts the bank account. So I would say that. How many options they have too. So closing costs, buying down the rates. Some people think, if we take 10,000 off of 300,000, we're at 290, it's cheaper. But sometimes it's better to keep the 300,000 and ask for 10,000, and we can buy down your rate. You can save 10,000 in your closing costs or things like that. So some of the things that they don't really see because they don't really teach these things. And some people, they do miss out because they don't know of these opportunities.
Yeah. I was just talking to someone about an hour ago about a deal that he's working on where he's only putting 3.5% down for the loan on this rental property. But there's some sort of discrepancy over like $2,000 or $3,000 with the seller, something with a survey and all that the seller wanted him to pay for. And I was like, well, dude, just add like $4,000 or $5,000 to the back end because you're only putting 3.5% down.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to cost you a couple $100 up front more instead of the full $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. Just do that. And he's like, oh, like that's great. That's the same thing. Like why having someone experience a real estate that knows these things is like you might have something in the negotiation with the seller that is really a couple $1,000s and paying it up front, is going to hurt coming out of pocket. But you can add it to the back end of the deal.
Right.
The seller gets paid out of the loan proceeds and you're still putting your same amount down. But not everyone's going to think of that. Yeah,
not everybody thinks of that. Some people, they think, you just want the deal. Of course you want to stay at 300,000 instead of 290. But the difference there is only a couple $100 in my compensation.
Mm-hmm.
I won't really die over those but you're going to save $10,000. But some people, they just don't see it. There are some people that they just kind of want to just get things off their chest and like, no, we're not going to do that. And then they end up doing it. So it's kind of, you just have to be very patient and very knowledgeable and patient.
Yeah. And negotiating is easier when you have the knowledge and experience that, probably a lot of it came from your mentor before you gained that experience. But would you say that you're a good negotiator now?
I would say I like to pinpoint things, and there are certain things that I read from books that is just like, all right, let's put it into practice. So you kind of just lay the things out and just be quiet and just hear them.
Yeah.
And then just let them react.
Yeah. Is there anything